Worst thing I heard.
Yo, Chad, I'm gonna need you to battle KD.
Yo, son. When y'all hear the Around the Rings theme song, everybody, I just want all of y'all to know that a brother made that from his heart and soul and creative brain. And yo, I don't rap. You know what I mean? I don't rap. Just listen to the pod. Don't even. I might even just be like, yo, fast forward right through the intros.
Every episode.
Every episode. Like, oh, you about to get a theme? Nah, right to the episode.
I'm not a rapper. Yo, it's 75 of them things right now, heard?
Nah, that's just love.
Crazy.
75.
Or to the NBA top
number.
75, man.
like
Word to
that
Ric
number.
Flair,
It's
man.
a cool number.
75.
It's a damn good number. The NBA 75th anniversary season was fire.
Yep. I was
NFL,
just
same
watching
thing.
some of like Mello on Mello's pod. They was talking about the 75, top 75.
Good episode with Joe today.
Yeah. I gotta go back and finish. I go back.
Probably one of the more like cultural conversations 7 p.m. in Brooklyn has had, like with Joe up there. Like they talked about a lot of good shit from George Karl, the white hat, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even when Mello be having talking about his fucking Houston run and how like nigga that shit was embarrassing for his Jersey legacy and shit.
Well, listen, if you want Nick Wayne's mother off your TV and you know it,
Nah, fam.
Clap
More
your hands.
Shane.
This is a disclaimer. We're not journalists. We're not reporters. We're not insiders. We don't work with or for any pro wrestling companies. We're not pro wrestlers, nor have we ever been. We are not backstage at pro wrestling shows, nor are we getting any dirt from anybody backstage at pro wrestling shows. We watch pro wrestling shows, and then we talk about them, because we're pro wrestling fans. And chances are, if you're watching or listening to this show, so are you. And by the way, Tony doesn't know you.
Peace to the gods, the ringside club pod. My name is A.O. Say you're around the dawn. Blame Boogie while you at it, blame Chad Law. K-Fave is dead, break the fourth wall. Whatever style, whether it's lucha or strong style. Come through the venue, fly, burn the ball down. Back to the pad, chop it up for the pod. Ringside club, intro to the squad as the show starts.
Peace. Yo, your trigger fingers almost as quick as mine. I was about to do the same shit, you heard?
yo, he who shall not be named needs to get cut out that intro, and luckily
we gotta edit that.
we cut that bitch out of there quick. How
We
y'all
gotta
feeling?
edit that, man. Back
I'm
once
Matt
again.
I'm Matt Taven. That's how I'm feeling. I'm Matt
Right.
Taven.
What?
You feeling all right tonight? All right.
Yeah, I'm Matt
feeling
Taven.
real good.
So
One of
you're
the best
so
catchphrases.
so you are a Vegas street magician.
Yo,
That's what it sounds like.
got one of the best catchphrases out, man. Did you not catch Dynamite? I'm Matt Taven. That brings
No
me.
doubt.
Oh,
No doubt.
I'm AO, and you are tuned in to the Ringside Club, man. We're going to get this show on the road to 75 of them things. Peace to everybody that's been supporting us far for all previous 74 episodes. We're here, man, like we usually do every Thursday night, broadcasting live from the Empire Tri-State, somewhere between the hours of 9 and 10. We're live right here on X, live right here on Twitter. That's the same app. Live right here on YouTube. If you don't catch us live, you could definitely catch us on demand. YouTube for the video, the audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. Make sure you tap in on Mondays for the Signature Move, my show. But most importantly, I am your reigning and defending pay-per-view predictions champion of the world, my man.
Hey, yo, Reigns in the building, y'all.
You heard me? Got a brand
Look at
new
everybody,
piece
man. I'm over
brand
here
new
feeling naked, polar,
piece of heavy
man.
metal
That's
right here.
Crazy. I ain't had a belt in so long, man. This is disheartening.
Piece of heavy metal right here. Piece to the guy Bugs.
You
for
look
this-
good with it,
this
champ.
got Biggs, pardon me.
Yeah, I like that. I like
For
that.
this
know what I'm saying?
ECW Classico right here.
Yeah, I held that.
Nah,
in,
that look fire. That belt look good money, bro. I ain't gonna front. I ain't seen the ECW belt in a minute. So I'm glad you picked that joint up, man. It looked good on your shoulder, champ.
Many
It looked
men
good.
who bled blood held that belt.
They did. They did.
I held that on Sunday, man. It got some weight to it. I ain't
It's
gonna
got a
lie.
little weight to it. It's got a little weight to it. But yeah, as soon as I put that back on the table, my wrestling days are to the side until next week. Right now, as Book so aptly named me, it's all A.O. Oakland time. A. Oakland
That's
time.
it.
I mean, so it's just microphones. I'm passing the microphones. So that being said, I pass it to my mans in them. Let's go, right?
Yeah, you
My
already
man
know.
hate your said AO.
Hit your set, A.O.
Hey, listen.
That was good.
Your man's in the building. I am Ron freaking Don. I'm here
Yeah, you
all
ain't do the
time.
RBD thumbs, man.
Nah, man, because I got this belt right here, man. So Ron freaking Don.
We should
You know
have
what I'm saying?
sung them in too, but it's all right. We got
Nah,
you
it's all
next
good.
time,
I don't
bro.
need that. Y'all can save your vocal cords. I'm good. I'm cool.
Nah, word to everything.
So listen, you see the belt, you see the gear, you see the hat, cop all that stuff, man. You in
All the
here,
above.
episode 75, we made it. Trigger finger bug, what's good?
Yo, listen.
Call it
Fresh
trigger.
I'm fresh out of surgery.
My man, good.
I might smack you with my good hand, but recovering with the bad one for a few weeks. Southpaw bug officially. I've been left-handed, but that's the only one I got for a little bit. Healing up, not taking pain meds. That shit's for suckers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just off the Tylenol, the edibles, and the good old Mary Jane. What's good, Chad?
Do. Yo, it's the kid, Younger Dava himself, a.k.a. I'm Matt Taven, a.k.a. Mr. Sniffles himself. Shit's crazy, man. I hate being sick.
He said Mr. Sniffles. Bro, what the fuck is that, bro?
Shit sucks, man.
Mr. Sniffles, bro?
I hate being sick, bro. Anybody
Yo,
hate
that's
being
the-
sick?
That's
think
definitely an
anybody
indie
likes
wrestler
being
name
sick.
right there.
Yo, peace
Nah.
to the Black Guy
Yo,
Wrestling
shout out to the
Pod, by
Black Guy
way.
Wrestling Pod. March 10th. Make sure
peace
y'all
to Black
check
Guy
us out.
Wrestling. Salute to
We're
y'all.
going to be collaborating with the good fellas. It's going to be real fun, man. We coming off the eve of Revolution at that point, right? So it's going to be a whole lot to be talking about at that one, man.
Sheesh.
Speaking of which, on that prediction show, we got the God herself, Keeks, all elite.
Keeks, what up?
She be
Good,
tapped
Keeks.
in for the predictions episode. Know what I mean,
Yeah, I'm all right, though.
man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. It's a real good Thursday. Feeling positive, feeling productive. It's been a lot of great wrestling, fellas. We here to talk our smack. You know what I mean? Here to give it to them. Pause.
yo. So we'll hit some quick little news updates. You know me, I'm like the international champion over here. First and foremost, this past weekend, my birthday weekend, I was up live tweeting, watching that.
God himself,
I mean,
man.
appreciate it. I was up live tweeting, live watching that New Japan great pay-per-view. You already know how I feel about Danielson and how I feel about Zack Sabre Jr. I've watched that match probably 3 to 4 times now.
I believe it. I know you was sitting up, son. You
I
going
watched it
crazy.
live,
Surprised.
then I watched it another 2 times to break it down on episode 7 or 8 of the Signature Move, whatever number that's up to. So if you
Make
haven't
sure y'all
peeped that,
tap in, man.
go tap in.
Signature
Every
move is
time,
going up.
every time A watched it back, it was a different genre of movie. He had it the first time with the blanket over his shoulders and the box of tissues, crying. That was his drama. He was fucked up that first time he watched that match. The second time he sat back, he was able to laugh at it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The third time, that shit, he was on the edge of his seat. He's like, "Yo," he act like he never seen it before.
You talking about the
Yo,
Mike Bailey match?
AO has a serious
Sabre and
problem that he's gonna be.
Oh,
all
no,
right. Yeah,
no,
he'll
no.
be
I
all right.
thought you was describing AO like when we was at House of Glory. Like, that's what he sounded like. My man's was in the auto zone
No.
when them boys was wrestling,
No.
son. I ain't
Yo.
never seen, like, my boy actually, like,
Let me
know
tell
what
you
I'm saying? He
something.
ain't go to a lot of shows, but
First of
my
all,
boy
you
was in the zone.
y'all have
Auto zone.
no. I was in the zone. You have no idea how smacked I was.
Listen, AO might pay for his seat, but AO is not in his seat the whole night. AO is gone. I don't know
I'm
where
moving.
AO was half the
I'm
night.
moving and shaking.
He
AO
was
was
not
doing
in his
commentary in his head during the Mike Bailey and his son match at House of Glory, son. AO was like, that's a beautiful takedown right there for Mike Bailey.
Y'all
Wow.
have no idea. I'm just grateful that Book drived. I'm gonna put it that
Yeah,
way.
word. What was homeboy's name that fucking was bleeding all over us and shit?
Christian Mason? Sir Mason?
Yeah, yo,
Oh,
AO,
Christian
Charles
McCaffrey.
Mason. Charles
all of a
Mason.
sudden-
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I look over to my left. I see AO in slow motion, like, with blood fucking going all over. He was fucking having the time of his life. Like, AO couldn't have been happier, yo. AO's an interesting cat, yo.
Yo, shout out to the upcoming House of Glory. You got Pentagon challenging Mike Santana for the House of Lord Championship. That should be a
just
dope
peep-
one.
Yeah, just peep that.
Word.
Yeah, that should be a dope one. That should be a really good one. You know what I'm saying? House of Lord cooking.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
saw
one
that-
in
I saw
March
that
coming up.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
in
one.
March.
That's the one in 2 weeks. Yeah.
They
Oh,
cooking.
listen, I said Pentagon's just got to go on an indie run and stay the fuck off TV for a little bit, get himself hot again, and then come back. That's all.
Pentagon got to go to A. Got to like really go to NXT. It's kind of what I
Pentagon and WWE would be ridiculous.
Yes, Pentagon and Ray Phoenix in WWE, specifically NXT. I still am to speak that into existence. I don't care what anybody say.
I think Penta might be a better fit than Ray.
Because you already got Dragon Lee.
Nah,
and
not
they ain't
even.
the same. They're
I
not the
think
same, but
nah, he's just way more crowd friendly because he chants
feel
half the match.
Bro,
So they will
you
eat that
we
up.
seen Montez Ford in fucking the Elimination Chamber. Imagine
That
fucking
was
Ray
whack.
Phoenix in the fucking Elimination Chamber. Come on, now.
amazing. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
God is good.
All the time. And all
So
the
you know
time.
me,
That's my boy
International
right there.
A.
That's Ron right there.
Oh, God is good.
International is great.
International A. I'm gonna just run down some quick little out of the U.S. Matches that are coming up pretty soon that I just saw.
Well, I'm
Couple
gonna heat you
this
up. I'm gonna
weekend.
heat you up. I'm gonna heat you up real quick. Go ahead.
Hold me down, God. This is the last indie match before Will Ospreay is officially 100% tapped into All Elite. So this week we got Revolution Pro Wrestling over in England. He's fighting Michael Oku for the Rev Pro Undisputed British Heavyweight title. Should be a fire match. We have Zack Sabre Jr. versus Connor Mills. You already know anything involving Sabre, I'm finding a way to tap in. We have Danny Luna, who's one of my signature movers, against Safari Reed. She is the champ, Undisputed British Women's Wrestling Champion. Gabe Kidd, another one of my signature movers, against Shingo Takagi. And this one, Mustafa Ali is making his moves over to Rev Pro this week against Robbie X. Tap in, Rev Pro app. I'm definitely checking that out. And finally, this is not this weekend. This is on March 29th. But we have the Blackpool Combat Club touching down in CMLL. Mystico, Volador Jr., Blue Panther, and Ultimo Guerrero against the Blackpool Combat Club. Mox, Claudio, B. Danielson, and Will Yuta.
Finally, this crossover is making sense. Lord of mercy.
You mean like I told you what was going to happen last week?
You did. You called it. You called it. You
I
called
mean,
it.
And then we got, this is a wild graphic here, but we got Willow Nightingale teaming up with Tessa Blanchard and La Catalina.
Yo,
against
Tessa
Stephanie.
can't be against black people. Look at her. She's teaming with Willow.
Hey, Stephanie Vecure. I'm going to butcher these names, but yeah, March 29th, Zeuxis and Luvia. I don't know, but we got
Yo,
some.
it's mad funny. AO got all the Japanese shit down pat when
I
it
was
comes
just
to
about
any of
to
the Mexican Spanish shit. My man said, queso, okay?
Hey man, I've never seen these names, but I'm gonna find a way to watch this as well. But yeah, man, CMLL March 29th, Rev Pro this weekend. A lot of moves, a lot of matches. International A, holla at me.
I can't help it, but every time I look at son, what's his face, Zack Sabre Jr., he just looks like a character from Inglourious Bastards. No, he just looked like he belonged in that shit.
Yep.
He looks like, as
I kinda
someone
do.
with an
shit like
infamous
him, too.
fan base would say, a Q-tip, perhaps?
I don't know.
Oh man.
He will hold that title this year too, by the way. IWGP World Heavyweight.
How much pro wrestling did we catch this week, gentlemen? How much did we watch? We check
Caught
every show out this week.
everything, man. Everything. I watched everything, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately. This is what repetition does to you. You just manually watch because it's like, hey, I'm here. So I'm tapped in. I mean,
Not
it's
gonna
not
front.
start.
I caught Raw right at the 9:00 hour when Cody was coming out, and I watched the rest of it. Wasn't a bad offering.
Best way to describe it. Just run of the mill. Only thing I really felt about taking away from Raw was this is the road to WrestleMania on Raw. SmackDown be banging. Raw be like at 3 hours. 3 hours on the road to WrestleMania every week, man.
That's kind of harsh, man. And so SmackDown got it over on Raw right now, man. I'm feeling SmackDown more.
Like when you just look at the main event of these Raws, it's like we give Dynamite some slack for some of their random ass main events that they be having, but like when you look at Raw, it's like, yo, dog, Cody, Shinsuke in a bull rope, Drew, Sammy. Next week, Drew, Cody. The following week, Cody, Shinsuke, Drew. It's just like, yo, dog, this is just Just put it in the microwave and then just ding.
Yo,
Let it go
shouts
around.
out to Drew. Shouts out to Drew for not just being Scottish, bro. He broke out his shell. Drew is officially a character, yo. I'm really proud of him. This is like good character development.
Yo, we didn't do an intro survey. Just on the topic with Bug, I would say
yeah,
do we
go ahead, my
think
bad.
he's
I was just
better?
gonna say, even though his character is pretty much just being an asshole right now, that's
love
really
it.
what his character is.
Fucking love
That
it,
shit
bro.
that shit works for him, bro. He's money right now. I fuck with Drew McIntyre, yo. I don't think any of us would have predicted that. Me or any of us would have agreed with that statement
No.
right now, but
Not whatsoever.
there's a couple things I'm interested in, and then I don't know if we're hopping off this topic. I just figured we'd go old school around the rings real quick and talk about Raw since it started on Monday. But there's two people I'm interested in what's going on with their storyline. It's Drew McIntyre and it's Damian Priest. Damian Priest got that briefcase, and it's not just gonna keep failing. He's gonna cash that shit in at some point. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, but something's gotta happen with that shit.
I would go off of your mention with this is our intro survey. Shit, it just escaped me. God damn it.
Was it the TNA joint?
Yeah, Scott D'Amore.
No, it was I was gonna pivot from it and go right off what Boog was just talking about pretty much.
Drew?
Damn, I forgot how to format it. No.
Was it
not yes, Drew. There we go. Intro survey, a little late, but do we think Drew McIntyre re-signs with WWE and stays?
Ooh, good question.
I mean, if he's let's play this out. If he resigns, he's not winning the title anytime soon.
We don't know that.
I don't think he's winning a title anytime soon. So if he resigns, what do you do with him? He's in the main event picture, at least close enough to it right now as far as his involvement with Seth Rollins, and he's already come up short a couple of times. He's finding his way back to that match, but I don't know.
We got the who, but what's the what, the where, the when? You know,
Yeah.
if what makes the most sense? You know what I'm saying? I don't see him making a world tour. I don't know if he's an Impact guy. Maybe he's an Impact guy.
He's a former TNA World Champion, but TNA is
I'm saying it today. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me.
But
TNA,
then again, like there's a lot of room with this character, whether it be World Championship or not. There's a lot of room with this current version of him in WWE. I'm gonna say yeah, because everywhere that he could go, that's gonna pay him the money he's gonna ask is already crowded, unless he makes a Japan run, and that's not big money either, by the way. You know what I mean? So,
right,
ain't no room in AEW for that.
True. What you got, Ron?
I'll say no for now, because
no.
Yeah, because you made a good point about like if he if he resigns, like what are you gonna do with him? I feel like they're just gonna keep him afloat. They're not gonna take him to the top. I say he can go somewhere else like TNA and probably get like be a little more top tier. That's how I look at it right now.
Look,
yeah, I can't see him. You know, as Ron was mentioning that. I'm just gonna speak from what I would like to see him do, not what I think he's gonna do. Because what I think he's gonna do, I think he's gonna sign back with WWE. But that's boring. So I'm just gonna say I would like to see him sign with TNA, just because it would shake shit up. The new belts are big. He's a bigger dude. It just fits. I don't know. I just feel like he could command a TNA roster more than he could command a WWE roster at this point. With all those characters on the show, he's doing great. He's doing what he's got to do. I don't know that the fans will support him like they would in a TNA situation.
Wow. So I think rare times, me and AO are on the same battlefield here, man.
Shit ain't happening until episode 95.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's actually come about that me and Boog are not on the same wavelength with agreements, and me and AO are like actually like, nah, I think he resigns, yo. Like, there's no real room. You said it best. Like, Will Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes are about to come into AEW. Where does Drew McIntyre fit in this? Drew Galloway. Where does he fit in the summer of 2024 in AEW with this type of roster already loaded? You're right. Like, there's no room over there. TNA is currently going through their emotions right now. But Dirty Dogs reunion would be some full circle shit between him and Dolph. It's a little outlandish, but I mean, hey, if it happens, it happens. A New Japan run, like you said, is a little less than what we'd expect. for somebody as hot as Drew. Pause, but
Drew's not an indie circuit dude either.
no, I don't think he did that. He did it.
I can't
already.
see that. I can't
He
see
did his
that.
TNA.
That's why I
run.
said I think he's definitely going to sign with the E, but I want to see him go to TNA.
I think he resigns, and not only does he resign, but I think if this Cody thing plays out to where Cody and Roman are a thing, and the tag
he could
match
be his
happening,
first opponent.
But Seth still has to defend. I think Drew wins the Chamber. We'll get to the predictions episode at a later time, but I think Drew will take the title from Seth at Mania. I think he'll be the dominant heel Raw champion that could be there, because if Gunther loses, then he could switch roles. So Gunther's title list, the IC title's on a face, the world title's on a big heel.
Yeah, and
Drew's
then
cool and popular.
Damian could cash in on Drew, and then
Drew,
they could be
Damian.
beefing on Raw for a while.
And then Punk comes back, and then that feud with Drew carries over throughout the whole winter. I guarantee you we're going to be loaded with Drew McIntyre, CM Punk matches.
Damn, I never thought I'd say this, but low-key, that title becomes a lot more interesting once it gets off Seth Rollins. Holy shit.
Yeah. I've come around on Seth's reign.
No, I love Seth. I'm just saying, I
Come
can't
around
believe
with
it. I can actually say, with the talent that's on Raw right now, I would be more excited to see what could potentially happen with that belt than see it continue on Seth at this point.
I agree. I don't know why everyone just gives his belt so much slack. Like, oh, it's a secondary title. It's just like, yo, dope. There's mad capable contenders for his belt. Like, there's mad people that actually could like legitimize and keep his belt up in motion on Raw alone.
I think
It's
we
only
should
because
stop
of
shitting on belts in general.
But it's
I think if we
it's
just
only
stop
because
shitting
of
on
the
championships,
it's
yeah.
only because of two reasons. One is the way that they rolled it out. Like, you already had two belts, consolidated them into one, and then only made this because they didn't have anything to do in Raw. So there's that. And then there's like the creative decision to have Seth actually go out there and call Roman out, and then Roman to say all of the shit that we talk about off TV. They said it on TV. You know what I mean? So they shit on the title on television. Whether that was supposed to happen that way or not, it's really just that perception. But in reality, it's like you have a split roster. You have a world champion here. You have a world champion there. They should be independent and not even thinking about one another. And that's how you make these titles, at least specifically that one, make it feel important enough that we should care about it.
Is this wrong to your topic?
What do you say? What do you say we get rid of title belts altogether, and we just get like the super aggro Crag trophy from Global Guts back in the day when you win a title? You know what I'm saying? Like the wild glowing
guts.
The glowing green rock. You feel me? I'll fuck
That
somebody
sounds like
up
a
for
Tony
that
Khan
trophy.
idea. I ain't even gonna hold you. Don't give Tony Khan an idea about having a Global Guts tournament to determine the first Global Guts.
Yo, Chad, I might be high right now, and it's okay. And it's okay to be offended by this too. I'll open the floor to being
It
offended.
is essentially what Eddie Kingston is the champion of. He's the Global Guts.
Yo, for a half a second, Chad
What's
really
even
looked
better
like,
is that man is on my television right now. Just mad.
no way. Chad gave me Playboy Cardi vibes for a half a second. I was real high. Chad was in his hood. He looked real mysterious like Playboy Cardi for a second, but he's alright.
I ain't wearing Playboy Cardi gear, man. I'm good on man thong, bro.
He's no. You wear guy clothes. It's cool. I got
Wearing
you.
briefs, my G. Briefs.
You know what I'm saying?
Briefs
Hey.
on the kid.
Whatever you feel like doing, you do. It's not. It's
All
not
right.
for me, but-
Hey, to each his own.
So we was talking about Impact
No doubt.
and Drew McIntyre.
Shouts out to
Conversation
Drew.
wandered off the man briefs.
Holy
but yeah,
shit,
we
bring
here,
it
we back.
Bringing the best convo out of us.
Before we get into my
Yeah.
topic, I just wanted to make mention, in case anybody has or hasn't seen it, the TNA roster pretty much wrote an open letter to Anthem in support of Scott D'Amore today, which will let you know what state and status that company is in right now. Drew McIntyre is not going there.
Not at all.
Nah, word.
That's rough.
What
Like,
was the
Dolph
tone? They're
is
basically
probably
saying
like,
we're not
yo,
going to work
the tone
here.
is-
Scott D'Amore's not here.
Nah, it wasn't so much that. It was more so let's kind of move together and move forward and have open communication. We love Scott, but we also know how much Anthem has done for TNA as a brand. But they were basically saying like, we don't know exactly what did or didn't happen with Scott, but we didn't know any of this shit was happening until we found out about it with everybody else on the internet. You know what I mean? So
That was my original intro survey, was if
Yeah.
Scott D'Amore is going to come back to TNA. And if he does come back to TNA, it's the most TNA shit I've ever seen in my life. It's Scott D'Amore coming back after being fired.
the only thing less TNA than that, or the one thing that's just underneath, that's very close, is getting rid of Scott D'Amore after he led the rebrand. The only thing more TNA than that would be bringing Scott D'Amore back after you let him go
Got rid
after
of
the
him.
rebrand. Like,
Yeah.
good Lord.
This next set of tapings will be very interesting to see. I mean, I feel like it's been real tight-lipped with TNA. I haven't seen anything in the news outside of Scott D'Amore. It's literally only Scott D'Amore and TNA. I don't hear anything about tapings, feuds, what's going on backstage. It's just Scott D'Amore and TNA. And they need to really move forward and get that cloud off of the company after having such a strong January.
Talk about Naomi's timing, right? Getting the fuck
Yo,
out of there before the
Phil,
fire
I'm
starts.
sure she looked at that shit like, yo, I'm happy I'm out of there. And then Nick Nemeth is like, what the hell did I just walk into?
That's a shame. That's a shame. Because they had a lot of interest. I was, and so far, like, I don't know how any of this has or hasn't had an impact, no pun intended, on the TV. But that's horrible for morale, especially when the biggest headlines that you have right now is how nothing about what's actually happened creatively is about what's happening on shit that we don't see on TV.
I agree.
That's fucking bad.
That's why I feel they really need to clear this up.
What is the worst part of it? Is it just that he's not there anymore? Like, or is there some fucked up shit going on?
The way that I understand it was basically like he was fighting for more money and a bigger budget, and he has to go to Anthem because they own it. And because they weren't willing to open the budget, for starters, like, look at all those free agents that came and went to AEW. They were trying to compete. They can't compete if they're not opening the budget. He knows this. He knows about production value, putting more money in the way that your product looks and sounds and all of that. They're not opening the budget. So then he came with an offer. I guess he had a situation on the table where he and whoever his partners or his team would have been able to purchase TNA from Anthem, and then they weren't willing to sell. So once they came to that impasse, it was like, all right, well, pretty much your time is up, and he knew it, and that's it. You know what I mean? But it was one of them shits where he, if you look at one of those, it was a show right after the Ospreay versus Walking Weapon match. Josh Alexander. He got on the microphone and he sounded like 90s Paul Heyman, screaming and yelling top of his lungs, TNA, TNA. He's bleeding that shit. Somebody that passionate that put that many years in, it's like a complete morale killer when something financial about I'm fighting for the brand and y'all just don't want to open the fucking checkbook up. Well, how much do y'all really care about it? And then the person that they put in control is really just like a corporate TV guy. They put a corporate bullshit statement out. If you work for that company or wrestle for that company, how excited are you at that point? You know what I'm saying? Not at all. So it was really just that. And then like less than look at how much time passed since that first paper. Was it Hard to Kill? It was the middle of January, I believe.
Less than a month.
And he's out there.
January, yeah.
I wonder what Santino's got to say about this. He's a director of authority over there. Kayfabe.
I don't know, but that badge around his neck always be pissing me the fuck off. I'll tell you that.
Nah, you do it. Definitely do. I mean, TNA made an amazing run of just like flash marketing with their whole like, we're gonna get all the big free names. Just wait and see who joins TNA.
It might be because he just looks like one of the jump out boys that like just be in New York City that just like hop out on you real quick. I don't really like that shit.
They will gas you up like, yo, Will Ospreay's gonna sign with TNA. Watch, he's doing 2 matches here. Come on, why would he go to AEW? And then it's like, he's going to AEW. He's not coming here, man. Come on, we know he's not coming here. Okada's not coming here. Punk's not coming here, man. Braun Strowman's not coming here. You know what I mean? I know TNA's ploy. It worked to an extent with Nick Nemeth. Because, we figured he'd stop there. So I think they pulled that off. My my finale on this topic, taken from 83 weeks, do you feel like Scott D'Amore is in the minor leagues? Do you feel like Scott D'Amore would be best fit in AEW, or would he be best fit in WWE? 83 weeks feels as though, and that's Eric Bischoff.
In what capacity? In what capacity?
Yeah, that's a tough one to answer.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, Eric Bischoff feels like Scott is so minor leagues in TNA that he's best served under Tony Khan, and that he's not ready to handle the WWE, let alone NXT or anything on that level.
I mean, again, that's very hard for me to say because, like, I can't put my finger right now on, Scott D'Amore did this and did this and did this as far as, like, specific examples of what he did or brought to the table.
And that's Eric's point as to what it's like you can't even pinpoint anything off the top of your head that Scott D'Amore's done to make you go, he's a major league guy.
But with that being said, I also can't pinpoint anything that anybody does. I don't know what these creative teams look like. I don't know who really is booking shit, who has final say, other than some shit that somebody that heard from somebody says in the fucking website. So
Plus,
what I can say is,
he's got a really punchable face, so I'm biased. Like, I don't know. So I don't know. I can't really answer that question.
All
honestly.
I can say is like is two, based off of two examples, or two reasons. You have somebody who's clearly very passionate, and then you have somebody who clearly a lot of people felt strongly in a positive way about. So he'll be an asset wherever he goes. Whatever he specifically brings to the table, I ain't gonna be able to speak to that. But you could have said the same thing about Paul Heyman once ECW went under. Clearly very passionate, and clearly somebody that a lot of people would say a lot of good things about. There were also a lot of people that would say a lot of shit. He didn't pay you on time, if ever. You know what I mean? I haven't heard horror stories about Scott D'Amore. So, yeah. Like, if he wherever he finds himself, I think he's going to find himself somewhere, because he clearly seemed like he brought a lot to the table.
Where would you like to see him end up? Last question.
I don't fucking know. I don't know what he does.
Pick a side. Backstage, I mean, you see, he's run TNA. He's flagship bearer. Yeah. Impact into this new TNA.
Put it like this:
so I think it would be backstage. What
I would say is this: I think it would be interesting to see him do ROH. Right? It'd be interesting to see him do ROH, because that technically is a separate company, even though it's really not. It's like their NXT system or whatever. But I think it would be interesting to see him do ROH, because that would bring a different feel and a different point of view on that brand. Like, Tony literally books everything. He's booking 4 shows, plus pay-per-views, you know what I mean? Plus whatever other businesses he has. To have somebody who has been able, like, proven to run a company, successfully for a while, I'd like to see him run TNA. And
that's a good point.
Just have somebody else run, like, creative for TNA.
That is a good point.
For ROH.
That's Eric's stance. He's like, that's minor leagues. Like, that's where he should go if he chooses to go anywhere.
But again, like, I don't know enough to say that he should be in the minor leagues or should be in the majors, because I don't know what any of these people do. I don't know what the fuck Eric Bischoff does unless he's telling me something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did Eric Bischoff actually do that you know for a fact, other than some shit that he's telling you? I don't fucking know. I don't know what these people do.
I don't know. I used to watch him do, like, roundhouse kicks on TV and shit.
I know he called Vince out. Oh, never mind. Ron
Bug. I was going to say Ron Vince. Oh shit.
Don't call me that.
Ron
Bug. So Chad, I remember you mentioned a few weeks ago about the NXT ratings and how they were kind of low. So I wanted to do a little research on the NXT ratings dating back to.
Hold up, you just skip my topic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I was actually just trying to get Ron to just like touch base on the Scott. I was gonna let y'all too just like finalize like y'all stance on Scott D'Amore, if he's minor league, major league. And
that's what I thought it was. Oh, so go. My bad, because I thought that's what it was.
I was letting y'all wrap it up.
Man, hit me with the title to the face.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He did. No. That's on y'all. Just wrap up Scott D'Amore, minor league, major league.
I don't know where he's going, so I like to see him ROH.
Maybe
MLW.
I can see him. Maybe NXT. Maybe.
I want him to go to WWE.
NXT. I think NXT,
I feel like he would be a good asset in NXT.
Yeah, I think that would be a good start there.
The way he ran TNA or Impact, I think would be very dope to see in NXT. Actually,
I think that would be dope. That would be dope.
All right, so
you good? All right, bet.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Nah, MLW, fam.
This guy's out of control. Yo, MLW was wilding, first of all, taking the title of Alex Kane. Out of control to put it on 55-year-old Japanese man is fucking crazy. Second time, Kojima. I'm sure I'm saying it right.
Lariat Kojima.
Yes. He is the 2-time MLW world champion. And they're just bringing in more spectacular names such as Bobby Fish and, star-studded caliber guys. Insane what's going on in MLW right now, folks. Insane, man. Alex Kane, we here for you, man. We here for you, yo. Boom IA Club, bro. You know what I'm saying? I support whatever you do moving forward, bro.
Hey, yo, I think we're gonna clear out for your topic now, bro. We got you, bro.
There you go.
All right, simple question. I see a lot of people talking about since The Rock's come back, he's on TV, they had the press conference, whatever, and he's side by side with Roman Reigns. A lot of people say both literally as far as physical stature and figuratively, metaphorically, as far as aura, presence, The Rock makes Roman Reigns look small.
Agreed.
He's taking the spotlight away from Roman Reigns. So that's my question. Pretty much throw around the ring. It's like, with The Rock here, like, does this change Roman Reigns' stature? You know what I mean? Does it change his presence? I talked a little bit about this. I went all the way back to 2020 and broke down if WWE was ever going to make the case that this entire way that this played out was in fact on purpose, what the argument would be. I'm not going to rehash that. But my argument is I think this is by design. First of all, The Rock is The Rock. He's 13 years Roman Reigns senior, but most importantly, if you zoomed in on that family tree that he had at that press conference, in real life, that man is the high chief of that family. You know what I mean? We know, like, oh, that tribal chief shit is cute. It's a storyline, head of the table. Yep, that's cute. You're the head of your table, but in reality, I'm the head of our table. So I think, like, if The Rock does, in fact, make Roman Reigns look small or take some of the spotlight away from him, it's by design, because I think, like, the way that this ends up is at some point, once he loses that championship, we're going to get that final showdown for who the tribal chief, quote unquote, is on TV. And Roman's going to beat The Rock, and that changes that perception right then and there. But what do y'all think? Like, does The Rock take spotlight away from Roman Reigns? I think the Usos falling in line with Roman Reigns is the same way that Roman Reigns falls in line to The Rock on television, as far as I'm concerned. But what do y'all think? He's there to do a job. I think the Don Corleone of that family and the guy pulling the strings, storyline-wise, from the beginning, is The Rock.
It's The Rock. I never even thought about that, but yeah, it's a possibility because, like you said, it is The Rock, and it's The Rock basically. And like you said, when you look on that family tree, he is a little higher up. He is technically more in line of being head of the table. So I can see The Rock, kind of overshining him, and then I will look at The Rock as being the guy who was supposed to dethrone Roman Reigns, because how long has Roman Reigns had the title? Since 2019, 2020. So you finally met the person that's going to take the belt off of him. Pause. So yeah,
you think Rock beats Roman for the title?
I don't think so. Maybe not.
Could you ask that question again, Ayo?
Yeah, like in when you see The Rock next to Roman Reigns on television, the overall vibe right now is that the aura, the presence, all of that, The Rock feels like a more important deal than the guy who's been the champion for almost 4 years. Do you feel that way? A lot of people are saying that, but do you think that's the case? And
yeah.
If
definitely.
so, or what? Yeah.
The Rock has way more. I'm not trying to stomp on Ron's point unless Ron's done, but yeah, I think The Rock has more star power, but his overall physical presence is just more commanding. He's the physical manifestation of human growth hormone. Like, the guy is fucking humongous.
What a breakdown.
So
He is a steroid.
yeah, like, that's just what he is. He is.
Don't put that on his jacket, man. Come on, man. Dwayne Johnson, B.
But yeah, so like he's never been more Brahma Bull than he is right now, So I just feel like it's really hard to stand next to him and not have not have him have a more commanding presence. You'd have to be, one of Big E's guys, one of the meteor men who slap supposed meat that would need to like stand up to him. All these other dudes are just
wow.
All these other dudes are just like way smaller in stature, just to be real. Like, I don't know, like, The Rock does not, personality wise, he does not kowtow to anyone, and stature wise, he stands up to just about anybody on the roster, unless you're doing some weird like carnival show like Omos against him or something like that. Like, it's just not. That's an attraction match, like, So yeah,
because I saw this conversation going around a little bit. Like, I'm pulling up right now. I'm on Cage Side Seats, right? And they had an article. I guess this was busted open earlier. Quote from Bully Ray: "I've never seen Roman look so secondary in my life." Quote from Bully Ray: "If I'm Roman, I'm doing the talking and Rock's trailing. Let the Rock be behind me. I'm the champ. I'm the head of the table. Rock's coming in and just taking over." I saw Mark Henry. He had a story kind of about the way that The Rock used to position the two of them when they were both in the Nation. He was like, because Mark Henry was so much bigger than him, he would say, "Nah, let me be closer to to the camera so you don't dwarf me. He's like, The Rock was doing the same shit. Like, if you look at The Rock at that press conference, he was the one that was closer to the camera and walked by Roman Reigns and made him look smaller. So it's little things like that on top of just who The Rock is that made that a very interesting question to me. I think all this is by design, though.
I feel as though Rock is absolutely overshadowing Roman right now. And it's okay because this is morphing into the tag team. They're not going to give us Rock and Roman yet, and rightfully so, they shouldn't. Giving us this tag team, this formation, this alliance of Rock being like, you know what? Maybe I will side with you, Roman. And we'll do Rock and Roman at WrestleMania 41 when it's its own spectacle without the WWE Championship cloud over it.
But
That's
who are they
cool.
going to tag against?
Cody and Seth, like the promo.
Yeah, they're going to do that.
So Cody's not going to finish his story at WrestleMania.
He will. That'll
They
be
do.
night one.
Yeah, day one, day two.
Day one, day two. So you get the best of both worlds. Because as it stands right now, WrestleMania is a 3-4-man show at this point. 5-6 person show if you include the women's titles. So it's like there ain't really much else to look forward to for this WrestleMania 40 other than it's in Philly. It's sold out. 100,000 people. It's going to be a spectacular show. The Rock's back. Cody's going to possibly finish the story. That's it. That's our sell for this WrestleMania 40. So it's like, hey, I'm here for this allegiance. What I also really enjoy is that Jacob Fatu even got a cameo in the Bloodline tree.
Yeah,
And I think that
There's
is
a
going
few
to
names
play
there.
a factor. Yes,
Yep.
there's a few names, but there aren't a lot that are capable like Jacob Fatu. And that's where I think this summer is going to be a wild card with the Bloodline story. And Paul Heyman might be right. We ain't even got to close to the end of this shit yet. We still got a long way to go. And who knows? But I'm putting my emphasis that Jacob Fatu ends up in the Bloodline.
Do y'all remember when Solo Sikoa first came up from NXT a couple weeks after, and they're doing this promo on SmackDown? They're all in the ring, and Roman turns to him. And he's like something along the lines of, "The elders may have sent you, but now that you're here, you answer to me, fall in line, acknowledge me," some shit like that. All right, y'all remember that? The Rock, I think, is the elder that he was talking about. You know what I mean? We never got a specific, point out as far as who the elders or the elder was. You know what I mean? We saw like them come out and throw the lay on Roman's shoulder after the match with Jey Uso, but we never got clarification as to who actually sent like Solo Sikoa. I think there's going to be some time during this whole story, before or after Mania, where The Rock kind of gives a look to Solo Sikoa and he backs up. He's supposed to do something, like Roman tells him to do something, and then The Rock looks at him and he doesn't do it, leaves the ring, some shit like that. And then we're going to get some kind of conflict about power in the family that's going to finally
let's be
turn
real.
that tide right there.
Jimmy and Jay are real brothers. Solo is their real brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Jacob Fatu is what?
Cousin.
I don't remember where. Yeah, I think he's a cousin.
He's a
All right.
cousin.
I think it's a cousin.
But he's not on the Anoa'i family side. He's on the Fatu side. No, that's his real last
He
name.
is
Off top, I don't know.
He's under the Fatu side, under Samuel Fatu, which is under, Fatu side. Yep, Anoa'i. Well, which comes from the Anoa'i side. So,
So I think we're gonna see some shit, and it's like you said. I don't think it's anywhere near done. I think we're in a different phase, and I think before we might be seeing the crumbling of Roman's empire and another version of whatever the bloodline is come back up, and Roman might be getting a little vacation for a while because he's been, as much as he's been not working hard, he's been their champion and their flagship, their flag bearer for a few years now.
3 years already.
Yeah.
What I will say,
Odin-
this will be my last point on this. But what I will say, this ends with Roman Reigns. We just talked about who's the number one babyface if it ain't Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns is going to be a red hot babyface by the time this is over.
Oh, he's going to turn face. Yeah, for sure.
1,000%. Because at some point, I think The Rock turns the rest of the bloodline against Roman. We get that sympathy. He has to fight from underneath, go through his whole family to finally get that tribal chief showdown. That's how this shit ends. And then he beats The Rock at 41.
brings Jacob Fatu in to battle Roman. I'm going ham on Jacob Fatu.
He's going to turn all of them. Jacob Fatu is going to be a name in line that gets beat by Roman on his way to the Rock, Mortal Kombat style.
Yes. That's where I'm like, yo, I'm so Jacob Fatu like trained that I'm like, yo, Rock is gonna sick Jacob Fatu on you. He showed a family tree with everybody
for a reason.
clear as day, and all of them are tied into this company, minus 4. And Jacob Fatu was one of those 4. So it's like, you know what I mean? I really
he's
think
the most. We've been talking about him
skilled,
for a while.
skilled.
He's the most credible killer out of all of them.
Yes, Book. He is the most like. If you just throw Jacob Fatu in the fold right now, it's like, oh nah, this is about to get like Solo is like, oh wait,
Scorpion.
I'm out the way now, huh? You're moving me out with Jacob.
It has Scorpion Sub-Zero versus Sub-Zero levels of interest.
Facts,
you know what I'm saying?
Facts,
told you, this is Mortal Kombat levels here.
Yeah.
Word. Facts.
Yeah.
Ron, your topic.
What you got, Ron?
Yeah. So, Chad. So I remember you were talking about the NXT ratings. 2 weeks ago, I think. So, I looked into NXT this week. I looked at NXT this week, and it was pretty solid. And then I wanted to see what the numbers were. So they did 650,000 and kind of went up a little bit. Then it kind of dipped like within like the middle of the show. Then it went back up during the main event, which was the let me see. It was Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin versus the family.
Yo, son, this is the most face Baron Corbin has ever been, most likable Baron Corbin's ever been.
Absolutely.
It's surreal to watch. I don't think this will last long at all. But it's a little fresh.
Yeah, it is. And I kind of maybe agree. I kind of agree with you because I always see Baron Corbin as a career heel because I think that's what he plays.
The commentary sidebar. I really miss Booker T. I don't think I've ever thought I'd miss Booker T on commentary more than I do now when I hear Byron Saxton on NXT.
Where's he at?
You said you don't, Ron?
I don't.
He has surgery, I think.
Yeah,
you don't? Because there's no way you want to hear Byron Saxton every week on NXT. I know you don't, Ron.
I don't want to hear him either, but I don't want to hear Booker T either.
Yo. I legitimately watched NXT these last weeks like, yo, bring back Booker T. And then I looked at myself in the mirror like, did I just say that? Bring back Booker T commentary? What the fuck?
You must have been high.
Yeah. Nah, bro. Byron Saxton don't cut it for me, man. It just sounds like Byron Saxton sounds like the teddy bear, like when you pull it, like he's very Kevin Patrick, but just black and seasoned. Pause. So, yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I need Booker T back on my commentary. But back to what you were saying. They were listing off Baron Corbin's stats for the last 6 years.
Yeah, he hasn't won a title in 6. He hasn't won a title in 6 years.
He don't sound any better than Ultimo Dragon in WWE or Sin Cara or Dominic Mysterio might have more highlights than Baron Corbin's whole career at this point. Like, yo, they said former King of the Ring winner, United States champion.
Crazy.
6 years without a title. I was like, yo, son,
I was like, that's a crazy
this
stat.
Is a quiet resume for Baron Corbin. Like, when you really put it like that, it's like, damn, dude has just been around town, just losing.
Somebody has the job.
Real facts, yes.
I think we can go on wax in one of our earlier episodes, just on a Baron Corbin tangent about how like he doesn't like. I think we were talking about like Happy Corbin at that time or whatever era he was in, but. Yeah, this was his biggest win of his career, probably. You know what I'm saying? So fitting that the ratings, I guess, because of it.
Probably.
Baron Corbin.
That might be top 5 of his career, winning these tag titles. But so I saw it was 650,000. So I said, you know what? Let me go back a year and see how much it was.
That guy Ron.
And on February 14th. 2023, it was actually 640,000 viewers. So
what was the matches? What was the main event?
I don't remember. It doesn't say here.
But
I can always go back and see what it was. So I said, you know what? It's still the same. So then I went back further to when NXT premiered on
USA.
On USA, and it was, let me see, it was September 18, 2019. It was 1.179 million viewers. Then
What a time.
next week it went down to 1.6 million, and then after that, the October 2nd, 2019, it was 891,000 viewers, and there's 4.5 years of viewers I have here. To say the least, the lowest it's gone is about 400 viewers, and 1 million is the highest they've gone. So they kind of like, they've been staying afloat
Right in the middle.
Right, they're right in the middle. So, so they're not doing.
They were AWR on a regular basis.
Yeah,
So.
kind of like that. And then one of the weeks they faced off against AEW, and then they got like 900 something thousand viewers, which was pretty fire. So yeah, for like the last 4.5 years, they've stayed afloat. So my question to you guys is like, is do you have any ideas of what they can do to get them back to like 1 million viewers? Because basically now they're just staying afloat. Like, and it's not horrible television, but at the same time, it doesn't have that star power that we had with them like 4 or 5 years ago when Adam Cole was there and Samoa Joe was here. And we've talked about this numerous times, but you kind of do see the difference. But at the same time, you miss them, but there's still great talent on the show right now. So, and I know for Boog and A, I know y'all don't watch it every week like y'all used to. So, is there anything that you would do or add or that will make you want to watch it more consistently again, and what will make them get back to like 1 million viewers?
And don't say Cody winning the NXT Heavyweight Championship.
No, not at all.
Finishing the story.
For one, I will say sidebar that coat that Mello had on a couple weeks ago when he cut his promo.
Oh yeah, word.
Black suit.
I bought that shit. I got it in the closet right now.
Okay, styling on them.
Got it in the closet.
Wow,
I rock it on a pod one day, because I definitely ain't wearing that shit outside. Definitely ain't wearing that shit outside. Yeah. So what can NXT get or do to get back above to 1 million or closer to 1 million?
Yeah.
I think for starters, like
on 900,000, like somewhere in that realm, something to like get the numbers up again. Yeah.
I think like the NXT, regardless of how good it's been in you guys' opinion, is still a bit of a polarizing brand from the standpoint of the wrestling is not that good to some people and okay to some people and really good to some people. It's a developmental brand, and they double down on the developmental part. You know what I mean? I have Ring of Honor on right now. There are a lot of talent that work like pretty much what they would do on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation on YouTube that aren't necessarily primetime ready, so they're getting their reps in, and that's a television show. So it's the same thing with NXT. With their version, is like a lot of people really don't have any interest in watching people develop. I just want to see the final product. I think part of it is also the venue looks like small time wrestling versus something that you would watch on SmackDown or Raw. If you're looking for a SmackDown on Raw, you're not going to look at NXT as far as being an equal. So it doesn't feel like a big time promotion, even though you may have some stars down there or future stars down there. You know what I mean? So, and then it's really just star power and names. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever the 3 letters are, names move the business. And if you get a household name, whether they get hot down at NXT or they come from Raw or SmackDown, that does numbers, right? They loaded that shit up as far as saying, oh, Cody Rhodes is going to appear and this person is going to appear and that person is going to appear when they went that last head-to-head on Tuesday against Dynamite. And they blew them out of the water, partially because it ain't fucking Dynamite's night, and partially because they ran that shit like a Raw reunion. They had the Undertaker down there, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Right. So stars do numbers. You get somebody hot enough that's going to do numbers. That's how they're going to get their numbers back up.
Right. So
I think I have a solution for that too.
I'm sorry, hold on. Maybe just one question. So you think if they start touring like Raw and SmackDown, you think they'll get the numbers up?
It's partially that, because like if when you tour, you tap into market. This is one market, and a lot of times you have the same people that were at last week's show and the week before that and the week before that they're at this week's show. So when you go to different markets, it's just like what Chad was talking about a bunch of episodes ago as far as being out on the road. And yeah, fuck all that internet shit. You got to be out there and touch the people. That's how you build a brand. NXT is a brand that's been established for a while, but they haven't been out on the road on television for a while. So it's the same, what are there, 200 people that might fit in that little arena down there?
Maybe 250.
You know what I mean? You can hear, I joke sometimes, you can hear the ceiling fan louder than the actual fans. Ain't nobody down there. You feel me? Like, so. Yeah. And then again, like also what's polarizing to me, some of the in-ring is hit or miss, but some of them segments really ain't for me. Some of the character work that they do down there is too fucking goofy. It's like super TikTok. You know what I mean? I don't know who the fuck this is for because it ain't for me. You dig? So I think a lot of the way that they present that show, whoever it's for, I guess is working. But there's a lot of that. It's a very polarizing, even more so than Raw or SmackDown. It's a polarizing brand.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I feel like you could answer a lot of problems with implementing some really small changes that could make a big difference, right? So, like, when you bring a Becky Lynch down to NXT, when you bring a Baron Corbin, when you bring a whomever else down to NXT, you're removing them from the program on the level that they're at, right? So they could otherwise be doing something else. Maybe they don't have something they're doing at that moment, but regardless, I think, and someone smartened me up, has NXT done away with the television title?
It's a North American title.
North American title.
Okay. So, North American title, whatever, we could keep that the way it is, or maybe that should be the title that's defended every week. But I feel like if we made a title defended weekly, every week the title will be determined. There is no disqualifications, there's no countouts, there's no nothing. Every week, this title will be either exchanged, changed, or retained every single week. We're fighting for this title every week. That brings a level of attention to the show, knowing that a different champion could kind of be crowned at any point. It also gives you the ability to move parts around and see who works, who doesn't, who's able to really command that spotlight, who's ready, who's your next person that you need to put into the I don't know, the next phase of training, let's say, or something like that. It also frees up the ability to move bigger pieces from a Raw, a SmackDown, bigger shows, bigger stars, to be able to come in weekly for one day. If they win the championship, and then the next week they lay it down, and then they lose it to somebody else that's an up-and-comer, it makes it so that they don't have to pay that off at an NXT pay-per-view. It doesn't have to wait a full month. It's something where you don't have to have someone wrapped up in a month's worth of programming. You could kind of have that belt floating around all the time and just doing what you need to do. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to solve all their problems, but clearly, even being a multi-billion-dollar company, WWE is not giving the assets to NXT. So I think if they're not divvying up the assets to NXT monetarily, and they're not going to get big names, and it's going to continue being a developmental product, you should keep seeding and feeding your veterans down there on a shorter stint, and just move different parts in and out. If Drew McIntyre just lost on Raw, bring him down to NXT. So he's on the come up, and he's got to get his shit back up, and he's got to come back to the main roster. Like, I just feel like you could make this shit work and do it in a way that makes sense and makes people want to care, because right now, like AO said, it feels like not necessarily forced, but almost as polarizing as college sports. You're either into them or you're not. That's how I feel like with NXT.
Very, very good comparison with college sports. I'll give you that. What you just said, Bug, it's like you broke it down very well down to, the TV title. I see what you mean, but that is the North American Championship. Like Dragon Lee and Santos, and a lot of people have had that reign, Wesley, where they've been on the main roster and they've been defending. The title is pretty much the TV title, That hasn't changed much. And then people coming down to rehab in NXT, Baron Corbin. He's spent the last 6 months down there rehabbing, and now he's a tag team champion for the first time. So everything you said is what's being implemented right now. So it's like, that ain't changing nothing. So it's like, if that ain't changing nothing, then, you know what I mean? Like, and the TV title, North American Championship, is actively being chased every week. It's a featured act on television every week. Ron can tell you. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, yo, I'm trying to be a North American champion. What's up?
Yeah,
Like,
every week though.
Obafemi is the champion now, and he's got Lexus King trying to challenge him. And now Lexus King is in the fold, and it's like, I don't want to see Lexus King, kayfabe, but it's like, Obafemi's going to squash this dude. So, to that point, Bug, I see what you mean, but I just don't know if that's going to change anything from what they're doing right now. And to AO,
you would know more than me.
I mean, yeah, I'm just not, because as I'm listening to y'all, I'm like, well, that sounds like what's going on right now, like pretty much. And AO's point, they've got Level Up. You know, they're doing really well with Level Up when it comes to them doing the live shows. Them being in the Performance Center, pardon my sickness, Mr. Sniffles. Them being in the Performance Center is actually working for them. It's like the Impact Zone, except they've got a way bigger budget. Like, a way bigger budget. Because when you look at the NXT pay-per-views, them shits is packed, yo. Like, they not quiet. It's not crickets at them NXT shows. And when they're at different cities, like, them shits look super packed. So, like,
the HOG show is packed.
But I mean, that's two different conversations. We're talking about what can they do to boost their weekly ratings.
So, but I'm just going back off like everything that y'all said, because I was digesting, you know what I mean, like all y'all points in it. So that's why I was like, all right, them having the pay-per-views being packed, them having the television show, they're a feeder program. And then you look at Ring of Honor, you know what I'm saying, that's on right now. And it's like, I feel like Ring of Honor would probably kick NXT's ass if it was on actual television, just because of like pure wrestling quality. But they don't have the backing to be on television. So NXT, for me, I think just needs just a little bit more consistency with some star power. I think they're just fine as is. Like, I think they're fine. Like, I don't feel like they panic at the ratings. I feel like it's just gonna fluctuate with them. Like, they're not
but I mean, there. To finish my point of view is like, I also don't think they need to chase the ratings. If they're at 640 on a regular basis and it's average, I think what the current NXT
the
system
star power
is
that they have right now is like shit.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think like what they wanted to do before, treating it like, yo, this is supposed to be developmental. There were a couple of people that came up from NXT that went on to do whatever they did in, you know, SmackDown or Raw. But that turned into Ring of Honor, basically. It was like, we're just bringing in guys from outside that can go, and that's why there was so much excitement back then, but it wasn't developmental. What they have now at least correlates with who they're trying to bring up to Raw and SmackDown. So whatever it is that they do, like, I think it's a problem if you start, oh, shit, we're only at 640. What can we do to get to 950? Anytime you start making creative decisions based on numbers, the shit's going to flop.
Yeah,
you're not actually
picking shit up.
You start getting whacked. I don't think they need to worry about trying to boost their ratings and get up to 900 or nothing like that. What they're doing now, as far as developing from WWE's perspective, as far as having characters that have gotten far enough that now they're ready to be brought up on SmackDown and Raw, keep doing that shit. Fuck what the ratings are doing, and get a bag from whatever network is willing to pay for your developmental product, like CW is about to do and like USA is doing now. Like, if somebody's gonna pay for this shit, again, like Boog said, college football makes a lot of bread. Everybody that plays college football is not going to the NFL. You know what I mean? So just let these guys develop. Whatever the numbers do, let them do it.
You and like college sports and college football and basketball, there's a handful. There's a pocket full of people that don't watch that either.
Right.
They don't watch that shit, but they'll watch the NBA and MLB. But like, as far as college shit, like myself,
they ain't watching AAA. They ain't watching college. Yeah.
Yo, bring back the ranking system. Make it mean something. Fight for a chance to get to the main roster pay-per-view.
Yo, NXT would probably be better off with a ranking system than AEW would be, yo. Alvarez's rant about the ranking system this past weekend had me in tears, yo.
What was his point?
How is Danny Garcia taking food out of Adam Copeland's mouth and from his family by just jumping ahead and then being offered a TNT title #1 contendership shot when he's nowhere near the rankings, even being here? The Young Bucks jumping ahead and being the #1 contenders, and they're nowhere near being the #1 contenders. Yeah, they are just like the general consensus. I guess I fall in the line of the dork that was like, "Yo, I'm here for the rankings," As it's like, if you look at the internet, I'm the dork that was like, no, I really want the rankings back. But like the majority is like, yo, fuck these rankings. These rankings make no
That's
sense.
because I think mad people are fucking dumb. For starters, in order to have rankings that are 100% to the T of wins and losses, everybody has to have the same amount of matches. It's impossible to do that. So this is just one way that you can tell a story in a fictional fucking sport. Alvarez is a fucking idiot for that point, right? For starters, the Young Bucks, the whole gimmick, like we were talking about off mic, is they're the EVPs and they're villains and heroes.
Yes, that
of course
is
they're going to put themselves up. Right.
Yes.
Daniel Garcia on television has been winning matches. There's only
he's
5
not in
people.
contention.
No, but there's
not
only
ranking.
5 fucking people. There is no top 10. So if you look at whatever his win-loss record is from the beginning of the year, that was his whole point on the promo. You've been winning matches and you're ranked. I've been winning matches and I'm not ranked. Let's fight for the ranking. That's the whole point. Let's fight
What's
for the
crazy,
opportunity to challenge.
Danny Garcia is actually ranked with the trios division. So why don't you go after the trios titles? Like,
Because he won singles gold. That's the whole argument. Like Brian Alvarez is going to try to make the argument that say if it's not exactly to the T of what the win-loss record is in the standings, then it shouldn't happen. That's never been the point. And that's a stupid-ass argument. And that's what stupid-ass people are going to make the argument for on Twitter. Like, no, it's not the point. It's also fucking fiction. It's fiction. It's fake. I don't know if anybody knows this, but pro wrestling is fake.
A.O. Baker, real big Brian Alvarez fan. Might be the biggest fan of him we know to date.
I just don't like unintelligent arguments, dog. Like, if you're going to make an argument that there could be a way to improve the rankings, sure. It could be a way to improve mad shit. Everything, actually. You know what I mean? No, I'm really good at my job. I can also improve. But when the argument goes into taking it from what it's supposed to be as one way to tell a story, you don't have to abide by that shit. Look at the UFC. How many times do you have championship matches? Or is every championship match the number one contender versus the title? Right. So what the fuck? Is he mad at UFC too? What are we talking about? Well, you have college. We were just talking about college ball. You have people that are ranked based on the weight of who they fought. Not always who they beat. Not always what their record is, pardon me.
I just think it's everyone that's now saying this ranking system makes no sense. Stop pushing it on us. This doesn't even matter and it won't matter. And now I'm the minority, as I realized today that, like, yo, I actually cared because I know I was championing for this ranking system to come back. And now it's back. Everyone is like, yo, fuck this ranking system. Like, this makes
because
no
they're dumb. The ranking system as it is one way to tell a story, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
I personally I tip my hat. I'm like, I think this keeps shit a little bit in order. So I think when I get
100%.
mad at the ranking system, I'm like, what is this? What is this ranking system? And I get why they're mad, but like, I wanted this ranking system. So that's why
I don't get why they're mad. I understand that they're mad because they're fucking not going the extra step to using their brain, just figuring this shit out. Right? If you had a top 10 right now instead of a top 5, my biggest problem with the ranking system is you have 4 men's titles and everybody's in the same division. Just separate them, right? But other than that, the ranking system from a standpoint of you only have 5 people. So everybody else that's not in the rankings is just never supposed to actually walk up to somebody and challenge them. You don't call anybody out. So we don't do promos anymore. So it's not a sport. It's not wrestling anymore.
Y'all just fighting for fight. Y'all having matches for the sake of having matches, just to build y'all rankings up.
If you're not in the top 5, you should never actually call anybody out to improve your standing. You should just wait for the bookers to book you.
Yes, wait for the rankings. Wait for your standings to improve before you make it.
Fuck out of here. Like, I ain't having fucking conversations with dumb niggas, B. Like, that's a stupid ass argument.
Yeah, man. That's what I looked at online today. I was like, damn, I'm in the minority like a motherfucker.
Yeah, the rankings are dope.
Yeah, the rankings are fun. I've been calling for the rankings for a minute.
We've been saying we want the rankings back. You know, we just was like, they're not going to do too much with it.
Right.
The majority don't like it, but we're here now. So that's our NXT topic. Bug, what you got? What?
All right, so I got a topic I think we'll have some interest in. We might be able to spark some convo here.
Shoot for the hip.
But I'm going to give you fellas your choice.
All right.
Because Cody Rhodes is such a big star right now, merchandise mover, very popular gentleman. If Cody Rhodes were to have never debuted in WWE, or if he were to never have left AEW, some say that's the same thing. It's the glass half full, glass half empty situation. You choose which side of the coin. Which environment do you want to describe what it would look like? What AEW would look like today with Cody Rhodes still there, or WWE without Cody Rhodes there? Start with AO.
Man, I think it's a lot harder to describe what AEW would look like because seemed like he was spinning his wheels when he was there. Like that's where that
think
term
about that too.
Yeah, that's where that term the Codyverse
they started
came from.
feeding the fans that he was on his way out once they knew he wasn't staying, so that they would turn on him?
Nah, I don't think it's that deep. I think it's
Would have got fired.
Yeah, I think it's more like in AEW, I think the further up the card you go as far as backstage goes, you have way more influence over your creative to the point that you're telling, oh, this is what I think we should do. And they say, yeah, go ahead and do it. So I think
the New York Yankees or the Dallas Cowboys. That's just all
I
it
think
is.
Cody was kind of I don't even think it's the stale.
Stale.
I think Cody was just off doing his own thing that wasn't in line with so much else that was important on the show that it was hard to actually buy into, especially when early on when he took himself out of whoever made the decision to have Cody Rhodes lose and never be able to fight for a world championship. I think that was the main downfall for the rest of his time there, because the fuck do I care for? How many times you going to win the TNT championship? You know what I'm saying? At that point, it was only the world and the TNT.
He was the face of TNT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like, you are one of the most popular guys, one of the founders, or people that brought AEW to the forefront, that created the shit, and you're never going to be in the world champion. So people were waiting, I think, for how do we get from Cody to Cody Rhodes, and then does that mean that he can now change because he changed his name, whatever. So it's tough because it just seemed like he was just off doing his own thing, spinning his wheels, and I think people got like kind of tired of that shit. Plus, like, he turned himself into Superman. He was like John Cena-ing himself at different points.
Yeah.
And then in WWE, real quick, is like if Cody never debuted in WWE, I think at some point you go with Seth Rollins versus Roman as your top, face versus heel kind of combination, because I don't know who else would have been the guy. Who else is a baby face? Sami Zayn, I don't feel like they ever were really going to take serious. He got hot in spite of, he's almost like the Daniel Bryan.
Kevin Owens would have actually probably had to have been put in that position.
Probably.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Bug, what was the question again? You said what would happen if Cody Rhodes didn't go to WWE?
You basically are just gonna pick heads or tails. If Cody never debuted in WWE at WrestleMania 38, or if he never left AEW after his match with Sammy Guevara, which environment would you like to describe him in right now? Would you like to describe WWE without Cody at this present moment, or AEW with Cody at this present moment?
Probably WWE without Cody.
Okay.
Just like A said, the next guy up probably would have been Seth Rollins. Without Cody there, I think it'll give an opportunity for other guys to be elevated. So you have Seth Rollins, you have
LA Knight.
LA Knight, you have Kevin Owens, you have
AJ Styles.
There's a whole bunch. There's a slew of names.
Karrion Kross.
There you go. Well, not Karrion Kross. Let's not.
There you go.
Let's not get crazy.
Let's not get hasty over here. But you named a slew of names that could be booked properly to be
minus Karrion Kross.
Yeah, minus Karrion Kross. You booked this. You said a slew of names that had the potential.
Yeah. Whoa.
Ron says, "Slow down, bro.
Yo, slow your roll."
So like, all right. So like, name a name, Ron. Like if Cody Rhodes, like the hottest story, the biggest talking point past bunch of years has been, I gotta finish my story. You take that off the table. You take as hot of a baby face. Who beats Roman for the title?
Karrion Kross.
A returning Sean Waltman.
First, boy. If Cody is Karrion Kross first.
When we talk about this off air,
fall and pray at WrestleMania. So with Scarlett with the giant fucking angel heart and shit. Karrion Kross getting carried on a cross to the ring at WrestleMania main event.
Stop it.
WrestleMania main event.
Yo, relax, chill.
Fall and pray, man.
Fall and pray in the main event at WrestleMania is outstanding, dog.
Nah, stop it, B. Nah, B.
Relax. Oh, Lord. Lord.
Mr. Sniffles. Yeah, Ron. Yeah. Do the name. You got
Yeah,
it.
so for like Seth Rollins, he could have did a thing where it's like, all right, we were in the Shield before, and you can take it in like in that vein. I don't know exactly what they will do with it, but you can write something in there because now you have two top champions who are both members of the Shield. So now you can create something. You can create.
They would have
something
rocked
off of
and
that.
Triple H them.
Probably, yeah. You could have did that.
Yeah.
So I think he would have been the first guy up. If I'm sorry, if Cody Rhodes wasn't there.
Yeah.
Mr. Sniffles.
Yo,
You got
my man snuffle up against.
I'm ruined, yo. All I could just think of is Karrion Kross.
Yo, son said carrying cross, carrying his cross. Like what?
It's the disciples and him carrying a cross.
Yo, this
cross
is terrible.
carrying the cross.
Yo, we clipping that up, son. It's going on. Karrion Kross,
so
we here for you, man. You gonna make
Coming
it
out.
sick, bro.
Coming out the Nasir Jones.
Yo, this is insane. Hate
Oh,
me now.
the song, the Hate Me Now or the cross.
Yo,
you got the cross.
Imagine
Godson.
Karrion Kross coming out to an Eminem beat at WrestleMania is insane.
I'm not afraid.
Yo, we didn't say that, bro. We didn't say that.
Everybody.
I'm glad you're not afraid, but shit.
Oh,
Yo, listen.
Lord.
Listen, right?
Let me let y'all finish before I jump in here for it.
All right, I'm gonna give my take then. I'm gonna say I'll book AEW. I'll book AEW with Cody Rhodes. So I feel like if Cody were to have stayed in AEW, he would have probably either eventually have turned heel or eventually broken his rule and won a championship. And I feel like Punk Cody in AEW could have been really interesting. I feel like Cody could have done a lot more interesting things in AEW. Cody,
corporate Cody would have been amazing in AEW.
Cody Omega would have been great, like a lot better.
Yeah.
I feel like shit. Cody MJF could have been a lot better than it ended up being. You know, there could have been like a lot more cool stuff that Cody could have done in AEW if he had stayed there. I honestly think that there was just a lot of corny going on when Cody was still there, and it's like they still had the stink of the newness of the company there, and there was people that we would joke around about a lot that we said, like, you know, we would release these people, you know, like, you know, we'd obviously joke and we don't want anyone not to get paid and not have a way to take care of their families. But if there were people that we would not want to be in the main roster, like if you had to pick a starting five, there's certainly some people that have been on AEW television historically that we would not have had on our television programming. And so I just feel like, you know, and no disrespect to Sammy Guevara, he's a talented athlete. I just don't. At the time, I didn't think I needed him in the main event picture or anywhere near like people that were big pieces of storylines and things of that nature. So that's just my opinion. But, you know, I just feel like Cody was a victim of circumstance. I think he made the right decision ultimately, as we're seeing now. But I think it would be a totally different company if AEW was able to wrestle in front of 80,000 fans in Wembley Stadium and you know, had gotten the benefit of a lot of the things that AEW ended up doing since he left, you know. But hey, it is what it is.
I think Cody Rhodes is a sick genius.
Oh,
I think it's all by design. It's all by design. He made this happen.
Right when he got his name back, as soon as they started calling him Cody Rhodes on AEW, that's when the talks with WWE started. That's my take.
I think even further back, I think even when he was doing his independent run, like when he was just like, yo, I'm going to make my way back to the WWE by any means at some point. I'm going to win the championship, but I'm going to do it how I want to do it. And right. I think he's doing it exactly how he wants to do it. The AEW thing was a little bit of a detour. It worked out well in his favor. but now coming back to WWE, I don't think the story gets finished anytime soon. It's a recurring thing that we always talk about, but I just think he's going to follow the Dusty road. This is to my controversial take I said earlier about this topic is I think he's going to follow in Dusty's track and not win the championship on purpose for quite some time to keep the story going, to keep living in his father's footsteps, keep chasing after that one thing that eluded him his whole career, because it just makes it that much more sweeter when he finally does win it. When he does win it, you don't want Cody to have a quick win. You want him to have a good extensive reign. And I don't think right now is the time for him to have an extensive reign as a champion. He needs more adversity.
And as they say, it's
more adversity.
As they say, it's more money in the chase too.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how many people would stick with him to pay attention to this shit if they don't pay it off in some way, shape, or form. They'd have to be real creative with how they chop this guy down and make him keep losing and be the stepping stone.
We haven't even got to Cody and CM Punk yet, so like there's still so much more to go. There's still a lot more legs that can go with Cody in the WWE. I mean, granted, he is exhausted just about wrestling everyone underneath the sun besides NXT guys, so there's still some more legs to go. That's where I'm at with it. Oh, wait a minute. No, I think I didn't answer the question particularly. My bad. This eye got me. Cody, and if he actually stayed in WWE, I think I'm going to go with that route. Is if he stayed in WWE, which one is it? Look, reword it.
If he stayed in AEW and never came back to WWE.
Is him being in WWE an option?
Yeah, it's either he stayed. You have to speak about if he never went to WWE from the AEW side or from the WWE side. What WWE looks like today without Cody, or what AEW looks like today with Cody.
I'm going to go with AEW. I'm going to take your point, Boog. I'm going to take the fact that, like, he's going to renege on this whole, like, I can't challenge for the title. I'll just have a match against Chris Jericho at the same pay-per-view 3 years to the date where I'm going to win back my chance to become the World Heavyweight Champion again.
Mm-hmm.
This starts corporate Cody. And this jumpstarts the EVP gimmick a little bit earlier.
About to say, the same thing that the Bucks are doing now, Cody will be doing.
I think
Brian
Cody
Alvarez
and
will
the
be
Bucks,
mad because Cody Rhodes didn't work his way up the rankings.
Cody and Bucks, I think, would have been dope because there would have been so much inside of the Elite that, like, you had the Elite Hangman, Elite Kenny Omega, Elite Hangman Kenny Omega, Elite Adam Cole.
Like, imagine
Cody.
Imagine how big of a heel He Who Shall Not Be Named could have really been if he was a lot younger when he was feuding with Austin and he wasn't older and couldn't really work like that.
Like I see Nick Aldis could be.
Like Cody, yeah, exactly. Try to go that route. Yo, I'm telling you right now, if they play Nick Aldis properly, Nick Aldis could be some shit in WWE too.
I think Nick Aldis should be sparingly though. He should be used
Cody could
like
have been that
front card. Like, yo, if I really got to pull a Nick Aldis match out, y'all get a Nick Aldis match, but we're not going to lean heavy into Nick Aldis being a wrestler all the time. He's doing an amazing job as the GM, by the way.
Yeah, I love it. I'm sorry to butt in, but yeah, I see that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what my thing is? And maybe I'll just save it for the next week's topic, but I really feel like AEW could use an authority figure. That's my thing. We could debate that next week, but I really think AEW could use
They need someone to hold it together, an on-screen holder together of things.
Yeah, kind of push things along, like a Nick Aldis or something like that.
Yes,
yeah, Sergeant Slaughter of old.
That's what I feel watching Dynamite last night. I'm like, where is a GM for any of this? Like, where did the Texas Deathmatch come from? Tony Khan just said, Texas Deathmatch, let's go.
Right.
Like, don't we just have like an on-air personality besides Tony Schiavone tell us this? Like, this would be kind of cool. So we'll ponder on that for next week. My topic, though. Today is the day, the anniversary that Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship. The first and only time in 2004, No Way Out, defeating that guy for the WWE Championship. And it was a huge, huge moment. You know what I'm saying? A reign that some people might consider lackluster because of the time period it was in. I personally sat through that whole reign, so I loved it. I was like, yo, I'm here for Eddie Guerrero as champion, but I was also on the internet at that time, so I actually saw the reaction that it was getting in real time. And it's like, yo, the way we talked about Seth Rollins is how people was talking about Eddie Guerrero the time he was champion. And it's like, damn, this is Eddie Guerrero. But it's like, yo, it's bad for ratings. Like, this is bad. Like, who cares? Like, week of SmackDown matches, JBL, and what a terrible feud. And that essentially all led up to him losing the title and JBL having the longest WWE Championship reign.
Least favorite title design, I believe. My least favorite WWE
that
title
one,
design.
the 2002-ish, 2003, 4, 5.
Like the wide body. It looked kind of like Intercontinental Championship-ish.
The Undisputed Championship. Yes, I like that one. I thought that was pretty solid. That was a solid one. That was a little. It was
like a video game title to me.
Yeah, I feel you. It was mad basic, but it got the job done.
Yeah,
it was that and the big gold belt.
It was plain Jane.
Yeah, that and the big gold belt. So Eddie Guerrero, you know what I'm saying, had a really, really not memorable run as WWE champion. This topic, I guess of what I just said could go a couple of different ways. Who had one of your most memorable shortest reigns, or what was some of your favorite No Way Out pay-per-view matches? Whichever one can go from there.
I got my No Way Outs. My No Way Out was from '98. It was really the only one, not the only one, but the first one that came to mind. With two moments. I remember Vader had a match with Kane, and it wasn't really the match. It was the fact that Kane smacked Vader in the face with a wrench after the match.
And walked off?
And just walked off. Like after the match, they had the red light still down. And I don't know if Paul Bearer pulled the toolbox out or if Kane just goes and grabs a wrench and just hauls off, like tomahawk, smacks Vader in the face.
Is he coloring or what?
I don't remember that. I don't remember if
did the red light just cover it?
I don't remember I don't think there was blood, but they were like on commentary, like, oh, he's dented his skull or whatever. It was basically because like Vader was injured and needed to figure out a way to write him off of TV. But at the time, I ain't know nothing about that shit. All I know is I just saw one guy smack another guy in the eye, damn near, with a wrench. It was nuts.
Now that you say it though out loud, Kane versus Vader OD does sound like some filler on the road to WrestleMania.
And I think that might have been like the third to last match or something like that.
Shouts out to AO too, because I was watching his show, and he was talking about Vader, and I literally had just wrote a verse to one of my shits.
You're watching the Glenn Jacobs show?
No, I was watching AO's show.
Signature move right here on the RSC.
Yeah, that's what
and he was.
My man said he's watching the Glenn Jacobs show. Holy shit!
AO, I was gonna text you too. Literally, like seconds ago, I put pen to paper and I wrote, I Boog Van Vader. Like that's, I called myself that in one of my verses. And it was like, maybe less than 3 minutes after I wrote it down, I'm watching the episode and you're talking about Big Van Vader. I'm like, oh shit, how life works, yo. But yeah.
Crazy thing about Vader, not to be like I never knew. I'm reading this book. It's like Lions something, whatever. I can't remember the title right now. Chris Charlton is a commentator in New Japan, but Vader got his gimmick from New Japan. They gave him Vader. They gave him the whole character. He was something else completely before he got that shit. But just to finish up real quick, No Way Out. So on the same card, that main event. So this is '98. This is the month after the Rumble when Shawn Michaels had the casket match against Taker.
This is in your house still, right?
Yeah, in your house, No Way Out. This is the first No Way Out, but it was like the last year I think they did In Your House, and this is the month before they did Mania, Austin versus where your man's go. There you go. This is the last year that they did. The month before they did Shawn versus Stone Cold. But anyway, so the main event was Austin, Owen Hart, Cactus Jack, and Chainsaw Charlie, Terry Funk versus Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, and Savio Vega, because that was the match that Shawn Michaels hurt his back on that backdrop again on the casket. So he only had one more match after that against Stone Cold, and then he was out for 4 years or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think this was the first time that we saw the New Age Outlaws and Triple H like together interact, and this was like a foreshadowing of what DX would eventually be. And then just seeing Savio Vega in amongst that crowd is weird as fuck.
Mad.
But it was a wild match. It was like a no holds barred match, mad weapons and shit like that. But pretty dope time.
Okay, Ron, what you got?
I'm actually gonna steal your answer and say Eddie Guerrero, because I'll be completely honest with you. I'm looking at when No Way Out ended, and it like the pay-per-views in general, and then in 2012.
It's NXT now.
It's NXT now, okay.
NXT's got No Way Out.
So like before when NXT kind of ended in 2012, and I started looking at wrestling like that same year or the year after, something like that.
It got wavy during that period of No Way Out. It was very wavy.
Okay. I'm definitely going to go back and look at some stuff, but I missed that whole era, so I really don't have too much memories of No Way Out. Only thing I remember is Eddie Guerrero winning the title, and I can see it in my head right now. Him making the pin, and the confetti and the whole crowd popping. That was
him jumping in the crowd.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like, that was crazy. So it's like just that whole feeling. I just remember that, and I'll go with that because that whole feeling, and that was like one of the biggest things for his career, like the biggest moments of his career, which is very unforgettable. So.
I ain't going front. That one was so dope because the poster had Eddie Guerrero on it. So you kind of thought it was like, what's going on here? This was brand exclusive. It was SmackDown. The card was really terrible. I ordered that paper. The card was like, run down for y'all. You had Akio, Sakota, and Tajiri defeated Billy Kidman, Paul London, and Ultimo Dragon in a 5-minute 6-man tag match, which wasn't the worst thing. When I look back on it today, I was like, this is actually a pretty cool fucking match. For 5 minutes, like, these guys got it off in this 6-man tag. Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty were the WWE Tag Team Champions at the time, and they defeated the Basham Brothers. Remember them?
Damn, I didn't know they came back. Didn't the Bashams have like a run during like the midnight this WWF Saturday Superstars era? They came back?
They were here in 2004 as the Dominatrix because they had Shaniqua with them.
I'm sorry, what?
Shaniqua. They were a dominatrix. Remember, they were the fetish group that wore the black leather, and they had the tall black chick, Shaniqua, that would whip them?
No, sir, I do not remember that.
Yeah, pause on that one, but yeah. Jamie Noble defeated Nydia by submission in a singles match. Yes, that happened. Yeah.
Jamie Noble, wow.
Well, I said this
former Ring of Honor champion Jamie Noble.
I said this pay-per-view was terrible, but like when I look back on it today, like I was like, damn, they kind of got their shit off on this pay-per-view, son. World's greatest tag team, Shelton Benjamin defeated the APA, and that match was pretty terrible. That's when I was like, this pay-per-view was pretty fucking terrible. But it's world's greatest tag team.
Wait, that was a bad match?
It wasn't a bad match per se. It was 7 minutes, but it was also just like, this is just a who's who of like, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, they're throwing anything together. Hardcore Holly defeated Rhino. This is really when I was like, nah, this pay-per-view is wavy. Chavo defeated Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship. This was a banger. This was 17 minutes, and this was very dramatic. Very, very dramatic. They were in the height of their feud. Kurt Angle defeated John Cena and Big Show by submission to become the #1 contender at WrestleMania 20. This was actually pretty damn solid. And Eddie Guerrero defeated Brock Lesnar in 30 minutes. 30-minute match, by the way. Fucking banger. Banger of 30 minutes, son. Like, I get why people would say this pay-per-view was pretty fucking terrible, but it's like, yo, actually the match quality was pretty fucking rocking. Like I said, I looked at today. I was like, Eddie and Brock had a fucking banger. Damn. Yeah. To Boog's point earlier, like this is one of those like didn't happen in memories. Like, damn, we gotta erase this one. Like, that was a fucking heater of a match with the Goldberg interference.
My favorite No Way Out memory. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I was actually there live, and I saw Cactus Jack versus Triple H, which was
Hell in Itself.
Yeah, which was pretty awesome. I'll only play it for a couple seconds. A live WWE event, and my next
it's crazy. I was 24 years. I was born that year. That's crazy.
Jesus.
Okay, so let me run down this card then, Boog, since you were there. Kurt Angle defeated Chris Jericho with China for the Intercontinental Championship. What do you remember of that match?
What are you saying here? Chris Jericho beat China?
Kurt Angle beat Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship. What do you remember of that match?
I don't recall it at all, actually. I don't remember it. But it's because that Hell in a Cell was such a memorable match.
Didn't he have like a flaming 2x4 in that match?
Yeah, there was a lot going on there.
Yeah.
The Dudley Boys defeated the New Age Outlaws for the tag titles in 5 minutes. Oh my God. Yo, the match times in this era was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Mark Henry
Okay.
with Mae Young defeated Viscera. Wow. Oh my God. Edge and Christian beat the Hardy Boys to determine the #1 contenders for the tag titles. Taz defeated Boss Man in 47 seconds by disqualification. X-Pac defeated Kane in 7 minutes.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
Too Cool defeated the Radicals in 12 minutes, and that was the end of the Radicals, essentially. I think that was like, I remember the Radicals came and went like early on. They were like that faction that was like, yo, they're here, but they ain't really nothing that I'm out this group. Big Show defeated The Rock to become #1 contender, and Triple H defeated Cactus Jack in the Hell in a Cell. Pretty fucking solid pay-per-view, if I do say so myself. Man.
Well, I don't know what else you gentlemen wanted to talk about, but I did want to share one cool thing I saw on the internet this week. I wanted to pull it up on the screen and show you. It was pretty awesome to me. But, wrestlers, they always have, like, weird relationships with each other, and sometimes it's not really good. But let me just show you something I saw that was the example of the opposite. Let's see what we got, if it'll let me share this window here. Is it not letting me do it? It should. Huh. There we go. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see this? So this is a gift from one Stone Cold Steve Austin to Bret
I
Hart.
did see this. Yeah.
And it is a framed photo of their match together where Steve has famously the crimson mask. And he basically wrote a note to Bret saying thanks for making his career. And he gave him a little shadow box with the actual blade that he used to gig himself for the match. So pretty cool. It's just cool that wrestlers, give a shit about each other enough to do some shit like this, because I would say both these guys are, I mean, everybody always says about Mount Rushmore, there's only a couple heads on Mount Rushmore, and to be honest with you, I don't know anybody that really gives a shit about Mount Rushmore for it being Mount Rushmore itself. So I don't ever use that as my litmus test. I think that when it comes to something that's so storied as professional wrestling or hip hop, for instance, you can't use Mount Rushmore as your trophy case because it's too small. So I think that I don't know. I just feel like these guys are like the top 10 best wrestlers ever. No question. I don't care what era you look at. Of course, it is biased because I existed in the era that these guys were superheroes. But what do you guys think? You ever see anything online like this where these guys actually like show some gratitude towards each other, like almost like in the NBA or the NFL when dudes swap jerseys or some shit?
I'll see it on I hear it and see it on like podcasts now, like especially with Stone Cold. I remember early on when he started his podcast, and you have different guests, and they'll give him the proverbial flowers, salute these guys. Same thing like you were just doing with Bret Hart. Before that, no, because everything was still really kayfabe, but now it's like, all right, everybody's saluting each other, and I think that's pretty dope. Because the example right there with Bret Hart and Stone Cold, like saying that he made his career, and just how everything goes with that, it was like, that's kind of the start of it, and we've all seen that match, and we all seen this before. So
I got a good outro survey. It just came to me out of nowhere, so I'm happy about it.
Oh, yeah, you want to fuck with the one I got?
Yeah. Hold on. I got one example of, not necessarily of like that kind of love, but Bret gets a lot of love. Like I remember when Punk first came in, he had the match against Darby, and they, ran specific moves from Bret Hart matches.
Yep.
Austin has had him on the Stone Cold podcast on the network and gave it up to him. Like Bret gets a lot of love from wrestlers, period. And I did see that, and that fact that they got that piece of blade in there is so fucking cool.
It's
cool.
fire. Yeah. But yeah, maybe a precursor to your outro survey, Chad. I got a question to throw around real quick.
Shoot.
Mick Foley has been on the internet talking about he would like to have one last match before he hangs it up for his 60th birthday. And he's going to lose a whole bunch of weight, get himself in shape, so it's a lot better for him, even though it could be not just career ending, but life ending, the way that guy runs matches. But let's just throw it out there. Mick Foley's got one last match. He's gonna do a death match. I got him against Nick Gage. Who do you got? Who do you got Mick Foley
The bank
against?
robber? Come on, man. It's Mick Foley, bro. Give some respect, bud. Come on.
Who do you think Mick Foley would want to
This
wrestle
man
in
said, "Yo, put
2024?
This man said, "Yo, I'm down to do the bingo hall in Jersey against Nick Gage at GCW."
Tell me Mick Foley doesn't want to go against the baddest of the baddest deathmatch wrestler right now.
I don't think Mick Foley wants to legitimately die. I think he wants to like put the facade up, but I don't think he actually wants to come close to death against.
You don't think Mick
Cardona
wants that pizza cutter to the forehead?
Yeah,
It's
I don't think he
Cardona,
wants
then.
to go out in the bingo hall at GCW Saco. Like,
It's Cardona.
like, I don't think he wants that at WrestleMania weekend against Nick Gage, son.
I got
But
Who was that? Who was in that exploding barbed wire match? That was
Kenny Omega
and who?
Omega
Omega.
and Moxley.
He said Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I think he would
Kenny
do
Omega.
an exploding barbed wire death match, and like Mox being the obvious answer, I'm gonna flip it and say he goes in there with Omega, because if anybody's gonna make Mick look like $1 million at age 60, it'll be somebody like Omega. You know what I mean? So yeah, exploding barbed wire death match against Kenny Omega on his 60th birthday. Book that shit.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say either Moxley or Danielson, or I was gonna say Edge too, because wasn't he the last person he had a hardcore
That'd
match
be a
with?
fire.
That's a good call.
That would be pretty
Yeah,
dope.
because I think that was with the you put the table on fire. I was like,
Yeah.
that they can run that back.
Yeah.
if he
I got
goes to
Cardona.
AEW.
That's it. I just got Cardona.
Oh
Because
yeah.
of the fuck Mick Foley shirt. That's what I got.
I would say the wild card, Darby Allin,
Dope.
because he can just toss Darby around, and Darby's gonna sell and sell.
Yeah,
and
Million
not
bucks.
gonna be too egregious on Mick's body to get beat around by a vet like Moxley. Granted, Moxley might know what's going on, but Foley could probably like tell Darby like, yo, tone it down, do it like this, keep it like this, and it'll also elevate Darby to another place of like, this guy's got a retirement match with Sting. He's got a retire. Mick Foley's like last match. Like, who is Darby Allin? Like, holy shit. And for Tony Khan, that's a cash cow right there. So I guess to piggyback off Bug's question, if this Mick Foley match happens, and we can end it at here, this Mick Foley match happens, where does it land? Will it be independent like Flair, or will it be under the AEW umbrella?
Hell yeah, it's independent. It's gonna be Conrad Thompson produced, 100% independent.
Nah. Foley is coming back for some paper. Fucking Khan has paper. That's an AEW. Khan is not being outbid for Foley's last match. He'll give him a fucking $1 million to do that match.
So no AEW is going to be independent.
No, he's doing AEW.
Okay. So you think he'll come back?
Yeah.
You think he'll debut?
Tony Khan is paying him $1 million. Light. That's the floor for that match. He's making bank off of that shit.
Mick Foley's last match.
Yeah, he's
out
doing
the
that
blue.
shit.
Just
of course, Billy Corgan ain't doing it.
I go for it. If it just popped up on the screen like Mick Foley's having his last match ever in AEW, I think that would definitely draw viewers in. People be like, "Nah, I'm watching it."
Mad viewers.
100%.
Mad viewers.
That's a fact.
And you
Especially
have to
when they
make
advertise
Tony-
it as a death match.
Make Tony Schiavone fucking spoil the finish of the match too, just like he did live.
Yeah. That'll put some butts in
during the
seats.
Monday Night Wars.
Really, if they had a tournament to determine who's going to fight John Moxley in a death match, and it was a death tournament where it's
A
just a
death
bunch of
match
people
tournament in AEW.
having
is
hardcore
outrageous.
matches at least once a week on Dynamite and Collision, I think would fucking pipe up AEW ratings OD. The way this Texas death match that actually happened in Texas this past week was very solid. I think if they had these level of matches to determine who would face Mick Foley,
Word,
that
yo,
would
Tony
be
be
amazing.
having fucking Texas death matches in Nebraska and shit.
Yo,
He just
son,
couldn't wait to get to Texas.
I turned on, I came back from commercial, and I was just
I
like,
ain't
wait a
letting
minute,
y'all get that shit off.
when did this get
No
announced? What the fuck, yo?
No, I don't know when it was announced at all. They announced that shit on X. at 3 p.m.
Tony be having fucking Texas tornado matches in fucking Omaha and shit. Like,
I don't want to see.
That's
another
the name
Texas
of the
death
match, though.
We
Nah,
are gonna see it. We are gonna
that's
see
the
it.
name of the match. Yo,
But
a
the
Russian
Texas
leg
death
sweep
match
is a
was-
Russian leg sweep in New Jersey.
No, but I'm
No,
saying,
I was
like,
appreciative that
specifically
they actually had a Texas death match in Texas, but I'm just
they were like territorial things back then.
fam, I looked at the card and was like, what's going to main event this shit? And lo and behold, it was a Texas death match between
Matthew
the coldest group in AEW
Yo,
versus Pocket.
Chad is Matt Taven.
I'm Matt Taven.
Chad Taven.
Yo, he
Definitely
literally
Chad
just
Taven.
said, Adam Cole, I like what you did there. I'm going to get some heat too. I'm Matt Taven. It's like, all right, man. You got it.
And where's the ringside club?
What you got for the exit survey, Chad?
Are you guys going to be tuned into the NWA on the CW app?
No.
And this has been episode 75 of the Yo, out of morbid curiosity, I can't eat your dog. I'm not. What I look like downloading the CW app? What are we talking about? What I look like with that shit on my phone?
A wrestling fan.
Nah, look, bro. I'm deep, but I ain't that damn deep, dog.
Listen,
I said I will download.
Who's on their roster nah, the answer's no.
EC3, Matt
I'm not
Cardona.
Ron, I'm not letting you answer, bro. Don't even answer. It's okay.
Black
You don't have to
Beans.
dignify this with a response, bro.
Aaron Stevens, Tim Storm,
This has been episode number
Jack
75.
Yo,
We will catch y'all with
Blunt
the
Force
NWA
Trauma.
Week in Review next week on episode 76.
Tom Latimer,
yo, Chad just took the book off the bookshelf and
Molina.
went like this. like, what are you doing, bro?
the N Crew, N Co, the NWA.
Yo, all right, listen.
Time to go.
My wife told me it's time to end the podcast,
Yeah.
so that means it's time to end the podcast.
We know.
We out.
Peace.